Hello and welcome to Rathods Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see current affairs of 17th December 2024. So let's get started with our discussion. There are many articles there in our newspaper which are relevant from your UPSC point of view. Okay, see the first article, guys. Modi takes up regional security with, who is he? Sri Lankan president, right? Okay, so what is this article is about? India-Sri Lanka relations. So where is Sri Lanka located? Okay, south of India. So do we share direct land boundary with the Sri Lanka? No. Do we share any maritime boundary? Yes. So what is the line which is dividing India and Sri Lanka? Park Strait and Gulf of Mannar. Okay. So from which subject you will be dealing this? GS paper 2 under international relations and also from GS paper 1 under geography. So the dimensions you have to see is history of India-Sri Lanka relations, and next one is you have to see what are the challenges between India and Sri Lanka, and next one here is areas of cooperation, and even you have to see what are the problems faced by the Sri Lanka in the recent past. Okay, tell me about what are the problems faced by Sri Lanka in recent past. Economic crisis because of reasons. Organic farming of tea, next. COVID-19 pandemic which affected tourism, next. Debt trap because of, what is that project name? Hambantota project developed by China, and next. Okay, political instability, next. Political instability. So tell me about what are the challenges between India and Sri Lanka relations. Okay, Kachati violence, next. Okay, fisherman issue. Arvind, tell me. Fisherman issue. Okay, 13th Constitution Amendment Act, next. Migration. Next. Okay, Tamilian issue. Next. Yes, very good. Border security. Next. Okay, maritime, bordery and agreements related to this. Next. So actually, you all know that Sri Lankan president is on 3-day visit to India. So whenever visit is happening, they will be obviously talking about what are the challenges between these two countries, right? So already I list out what are the challenges between India and Sri Lanka. So now guess on which topics they might be having talks in these 3 days. Yes, at least. Okay, fisherman, boundary. Okay, next. Yes, very good. Investments, fisherman issue, border security. Next. At least guess. Energy cooperation. Okay. Next. Okay, Tamilians. Tell me. What might Kachati? Next. Migration. Okay, Adani group of companies are investing. So this is also one important issue. They may be talking. Next. Electricity. Next. So let us see whether your guess is right or wrong. So actually here Sri Lankan president assured our Prime Minister that Sri Lanka will not allow its territory to be used against India. That means they're talking about security of India, right? So many people, especially this LTTE and as well as other terror organizations, they are using the Sri Lanka as a ground to act against India. So now this new president of Sri Lanka, he assured India that they are not going to allow others to use territory of Sri Lanka to act or to be used against India. And next one is they talked about regional security, second important issue, and they talked about economic cooperation and as well as Tamil reconciliation. So what are the things? The first one here is they talked about security, economic cooperation, and as well as Tamilians and investment. So these are the areas they are going to have talks. And even in return, you know that India is helping Sri Lanka a lot. For example, India is giving loans. So for that, our India pledged that they are converting the loans of the projects into grants. So what is this grant? Grant. Do we get any return if you are giving any grant to any other country? No, right? So it is a soft power. That means most of our project loans of India, they are going to convert it into grants. So it will be useful for whom? Sri Lanka. And what is the use for India? Only soft power. Okay. And even we are going to have more energy and as well as digital initiatives from Indian side to Sri Lanka. So these are the things which mainly discussed. So now tell me what will be the importance of this meet. So here they are going to have discussions on this security, Tamilians, and as well as economic cooperation, investment, and even they are going to get grants instead of loans. So now tell me what is the significance of this meet? Are you getting my question? Tell me what is the significance of this meeting? Okay, so it will be helpful for countering of China string of pearls concept. Next, can we increase our trade there? Trade in this country can be increased. Next, uh, uh, depression. So I'm not talking about climate change anywhere. So we are talking about border security. That means Sri Lanka is ensuring now that its land will be not used against India. That means can we ensure security and as well as peace in this region? Next. Next, one important problem here is they are not at all talking about fishermen issue and as well as Kachativu Islands issue. Always this issue will be news, right? But they are not willing to talk about this fishermen issue. So this will be the one cause of concern in this India-Sri Lanka meet. Okay, so whenever we are increasing trade, that means can it lead to economic growth, increasing of economic growth? And even there is one article in today's newspaper which said that there is decreasing of our exports. So whenever we are having access to different markets, we can address this problem of trade deficit. Okay, so these are the things that you have to remember. And if you see the first point, they are saying that regional security commitment. So here Sri Lanka gave an assurance that its land will not be used against activities which are against India. That means we are focusing on regional stability. So because of this, it will be improving our India's security concerns. And even we can control Chinese influence in this region. So this is the first important point that you have to remember. And next one here is conversion of loans into grants by India. That will be helpful for Sri Lanka's recovery because it's already in economic crisis. It is already in this debt trap. If no country is coming forward for helping of the Sri Lanka, then what happened? That will lead to disruption of trade because we are in now globalization era. Okay, so that what happens whenever India is converting that loans into grants, it will be economically very helpful for this Sri Lanka, and as well as it will be helpful for economic stability of Sri Lanka, and as well as goodwill, soft power can be increased. And next one here is we are also focusing on energy cooperation. That means we are focusing on improving of infrastructure so that we can enhance energy security of both the countries, and even economic interdependence of these two countries will be improved. And next one is we are also focusing on this Tamil issue as well. So this is one of the stable and long-standing issue of India and Sri Lanka relations. So if you're having this, then what happened? We can improve culture, we can preserve our heritage, and as well as regional harmony can be addressed. And ethnic tensions will be decreased in Sri Lanka and as well as in India. And next one here is we are also focusing on maritime security as well. So protecting of maritime security is very important because especially Sri Lanka's strategic location is very important because it is having access to Indo-Pacific region. So in this Indo-Pacific region, the important problem we are having is increasing of Chinese influence. To counter this Chinese influence, and to counter Chinese naval presence in this region. Yes, this strategically Indian Ocean is very important. For that, Sri Lankan cooperation is very important for India. And even there is no proper discussion regarding this fishermen issue. So this is one problem that we are having now. Okay, see this image. So what can you see here? Is it a bridge? So which bridge is this? Any idea? Is there any river that can you see? No? I think that image is not clear, but actually this bridge is over a river, and that is Chenab. So what is this Chenab river is about? Chenab is tributary of which river system? Indus river system. So Indus river system comes under Himalayan or peninsular? Himalayan. So between which countries this Indus river and its tributaries will flow? Pakistan and India. So do we have any treaty? Is Indus Water Treaty. So under this treaty, what are the important provisions? Like which rivers comes under control of India and which rivers comes under control of Pakistan? Very good. Come on. It is about River Chenab. River Chenab comes under Indus river system. So this Indus comes under Himalayan river system. So now tell me tributaries of river Indus at least. Ravi, Bias, Satluj, Chenab, Jhelum, one more river. Okay. So these are the major rivers. So remember this ICJ. What is this ICJ? Indus, Chenab and Jhelum comes under Pakistan. RBS comes under India. Okay. So we have Indus Water Treaty. So which organization brokered this treaty between India and Pakistan? WB, that is World Bank. Okay. So what is the issue regarding this Indus Water Treaty now? What is the issue? So Pakistan is not attending meeting for this Indus Water Treaty. Why? What might be the reason? So because of this Indus Water Treaty, they are not getting affected anymore, but only India is getting affected, right? So because of that, they are not showing any interest to attend this meetings. So this meetings will be conducted, what is the time period? For every 1 year or 6 months? 1 year? Think. Okay, see here. So where is this river Chenab originated? Again, facts. Chenab originated in which place? Chenab is formed by two streams which joined, right? So they are called as Chandra and Bhaga. So where they met? The place where these two Chandra and Bhaga met. Where? Chenab will be joining one more river. Where? And which is that river? So you have to see this Indus river system in a very clear-cut manner, because it will be like this kind of network, right? So you have to see which river is joining which river at which place. And there is one lake which formed where these two rivers are joining. So which is that lake and which rivers are joining to form the lake? Lake Harike. Lake Harike. So which rivers are joining to form this Lake Harike? Very good. So see this river system today. So actually this image is about Chenab Rail Bridge. So this rail bridge is located between Bakkal and Kauri in Resi district of Jammu and Kashmir. In Jammu and Kashmir we have this bridge, and this is very important because it is the highest single arch railway bridge in the world. So because of this there is a high chance of getting question. Highest single arch railway bridge in the world, which is located over which river? So this will be a prelims based question. So you have to see that, and actually rail bridge is part of Udhampur Srinagar Baramulla rail link project. And the construction of this Chenab bridge has been collaborated effort. So many international organizations had been involved. For example, IITs, DRDO and Geological Survey of India. So see some facts regarding this Chenab river. It is a major river of India and Pakistan, and this Chenab is tributary of river Indus, and it is formed by the confluence of two streams. First one is Chandra and second one is Bhaga. Okay, yeah, that's it. And say this article, merchandise exports fall 4.83% to touch 25-month low. So what is this article is about? Merchandise trade. So what is the meaning of trade? What is the meaning of trade? Okay, trade includes two important things, imports and exports. So what this article is saying? Exports fall. That means there is decreasing of exports now. Okay, so whenever decreasing of exports, that condition is called as imports are more and exports are less. Trade deficit. Very good. Trade deficit is a condition where imports are more compared to that of exports. Okay, tell me what happens in this trade deficit? Whenever there is decreasing of exports, what is the impact? There is decreasing of exports. What will be the impact? Obviously, production will be increased or decreased? Production is decreased. So whenever the production is decreased, what happened? Output will be decreased. That means, can I say there is decreasing of GDP? Next, whenever there is decreasing of exports, that also leads to decreasing of production. What about employment? There is decreasing of employment opportunities, or there is increasing of unemployment. So what happens? There is decreasing of employment opportunities. Yes, there is decreasing of purchasing power parity of the people. That means, can I say there is decreasing of demand in the market? So decreasing of demand leads to recession. Next, what about standard of living of people? Decreasing of standard of living. And what about poverty? What about hunger? What about our status of developed nation? Can we achieve that? Falling of developed nation status. And what about, okay, one more area that you have to focus is decreasing of exports. What about forex reserves? Decreases. Okay. Next one is what about investments? Can we attract more investments from the foreign countries? Investments will also be decreased. Okay, that's it. So see this. So context says that India's merchandise exports fell by 4.83% in month of November, and it is very low if you're comparing with 25 months. That means if you're comparing with last 2 years, so in this month of November, there is decreasing of exports. And actually imports are surged by nearly 27%. Okay, so till now we discussed about only exports. Now let us dig into this imports. So this article is saying that there is increasing of imports. Especially this article is focusing on two important areas where there is increasing of imports is. The first one is gold imports. Second one is oil, crude oil imports are increasing. Now tell me what happens if there is increasing of gold and oil imports. Gold is costly. Yes. So what happens? Already we are decreasing our exports, but increasing of our imports, that too very costly products. We are importing very costly products and we are decreasing our exports. That means, can we say there will be very huge trade deficit? So because of this draining of forex reserves will be happens. So whenever forex reserves are depleting in our country, then what happened? What is the scenario on our Indian rupee? Indian rupee value will be increased or decreased? There will be decreasing of Indian rupee value. That concept is called as appreciation or depreciation. Yes, depreciation of Indian rupee. Then what happens for this dollar? Dollar value will be increased or decreased? Yes, there is increasing of dollar value. Okay, that is one important thing that you have to see. And if you see from society point of view, why people will be giving more value to this gold? That means, can we understand that society is also giving more value to the gold? That means we are also having some cultural impact on the society. If government is decreasing the import of the gold, then what happens? There will be increasing of further huge demand for this gold. It will be affecting the culture and the society, right? So from that point of view also we have to think. Okay, and next one is, they are saying that there is increasing of oil import. Why? Because there is decreasing of prices, global oil prices. So that we are going for importing of more oil so that we can maintain strategic petroleum reserves. So how many strategic petroleum reserves are there in India? 3 or 4? Again. 4. So where the places? Visakhapatnam. I gave you this exercise long back ago. Strategic petroleum reserves in India. We have 4. Where? Places. 4 or 3. Again, there is confusion. So see that once. Okay, so this article is saying that there is declining of exports. That means we can see, especially certain sectors, they are having vulnerability, especially petroleum products. So we will be importing crude oil, and after that we will go for fractional distillation, and we will be generating different products like Vaseline, gasoline, kerosene, diesel, petrol, right? So we are very good in exporting of these petroleum products to different countries. So actually these petroleum products exports had been decreased in our country. That means we can say certain sectors, they are very much vulnerable. And we can understand that there is reduced global demand. And next one here is, there is increasing of imports, especially there is strong consumption is happening, and even we are increasing our dependence on foreign goods, especially like gold. And next one here is, because of decreasing of exports and increasing of imports, obviously there is increasing of trade deficit. So because of this, we must be very careful regarding our future economic policies. Okay, so that is the thing. And say this article, Bangladesh freedom fighters recall the 1971 liberation war. So what is the keyword? 1971 liberation war. What happened in 1971? 1971, what happened? 1971 liberation war. So which country got liberated in this war? Bangladesh came into existence. So actually, during the time of our independence, India had been partitioned, right? So this part is West Pakistan, and here this part is East Pakistan. Okay, so at this 1971, there was a war between India and Pakistan. So in that war, India intervened and India helped this liberation of Bangladesh. So because of this, this war is called as 1971 Liberation War. How many days war is it? How many days war? It's 13 days war. So it had been started on December 3rd, and finally had been ended on this December 16th. It is 13 days of war. Okay, so actually in this war, many Indian soldiers had been died. So because of this, every year on December 16th, we celebrate this day as Vijay Divas. Okay, why we'll celebrate Vijay Divas? Tell me. So in India, we are celebrating this day as Vijay Divas. So what is the name in Bangladesh they will celebrate on this December 16th? Any idea? International relations is done. Tell me. Yeah, more army people. So the name for this day in Bangladesh is Bijoy Divos. Bijoy Divos. Bijoy Divos is celebrated in Bangladesh. In India, we celebrate as Vijay Divas. Okay, Vijay Divas is commemorated on December 16th every year to honor the victory of Indian armed forces over Pakistan in 1971 war. And we are paying tribute for the soldiers who had died in that war. And this day is also celebrated in Bangladesh as Bijoy Divas or Victory Day. and it is also considered as a formal independence of this Bangladesh from Pakistan. So what is the history? So in 1971, there was genocide perpetrated by the oppressive Pakistani military regime, and that regime was led by General Yahya Khan. So against the people of East Pakistan. Actually, Pakistan is two parts, like Western Pakistan and Eastern Pakistan, but everything is dominated by Western Pakistan at that time. So at that time in 1971, they came up with elections in Bangladesh. So because of this, the general who was in this Western Pakistan, he instigated genocide in this Pakistan. So here India will be not tolerating that, right? Because something is happening in our neighboring country, obviously it will be having impact. Because if genocide is happening there, people they started flooding of that Eastern Pakistan, and they started entering into India. So at that time, especially conflict erupted when Sheikh Mujibur Rahman led Awami League emerged as winner in this 1970 elections. So after this elections, Pakistani military used force to influence the results. So because of this, the then Prime Minister of India, that is Indira Gandhi, provided refuge for the people who are coming out of this Eastern Pakistan into India. And finally, what happened? Pakistani army people, they even attacked 11 Indian air bases. So because of this, government of India is not silent. So at that time, Indira Gandhi ordered our Indian army to go for strike against these people. So finally, it was like 13-day battle, and finally Bangladesh had been liberated on December 16th, 1971, and this war is called as famously the Bangladesh Liberation War of 1971. Clear? And see this article. Simultaneous polls bill may be introduced in Lok Sabha today. So winter sessions are going on. Yes, tell me what is the simultaneous elections is about. One nation, one election. So elections for both Lok Sabha and as well as state legislative assembly together. So here you have to know about what is this concept of simultaneous elections. Simultaneous elections is called as one nation, one election. That means we are going for elections for Lok Sabha and state legislative assembly together. So you have to see what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages, and you have to see what are the challenges we have. And you have to see what is the way forward. So already we had discussions on this topic in our earlier classes. So just revise that. And see this article. The hidden cost of greenwashing the Indian railways. So what is this article is about? Indian railways. Okay, so it is talking about Indian railways. Is there any recent current affairs regarding Indian railways? Okay. We have a bullet train. Apart from that, we have bullet train, we have Vande Bharat Express. Next, is there any export of Indian railways to any other country? Yes. So we are exporting which trains? Diesel engines, right? Diesel based engines to African countries. So actually, this article is saying that we want to go for 100% electrification of Indian railways. So as of now, 96% of electrification of Indian railways had been done. And recent development here is whenever we are going for complete electrification, so there is no need of using this diesel based, right? So we are exporting this diesel based Indian railway system to African countries. So actually this article is saying that whenever we are going for 100% electrification, we are having some challenges. So this article is entirely about what are the challenges we have if we want to move for this 100% electrification of our Indian railways. Now tell me, what might be the challenges we have? Okay, infrastructure. Next. Okay, investment. Next. Okay, maintenance. Next. Keep go on saying. Investment, infrastructure, maintenance. Apart from this. Cost effectiveness. Okay. Next. Okay, I want this. More electricity is required. So tell me, we are producing electricity based on coal. So we are producing electricity, that is by using coal, by burning coal. That is called as thermal electricity, right? Okay, we are using thermal electricity in our country. So here our aim is 100% electrification. So why we have to go for this electrification? What is the aim? Okay, reduce carbon dioxide emissions, reduce global warming, to address climate change. So these are the aims, right? But if you go for electrification, we are using coal. That means we have to increase further more production of electricity. That means we have to further more burn coal. That will lead to further more carbon dioxide emissions, right? How we can achieve the goal of this reducing of carbon dioxide emissions by this 100% electrification? So this is the idea of this article. Clear? So here we are going for 100% electrification. We are diverting the usage of this diesel because we have to go for greener fuel. But the electricity that we are producing in India is based on coal, that is thermal electricity. So for that we will be using fossil fuel. How can we achieve this carbon dioxide emission reduction? So this is the idea of this article. So from which subject we can see this? From GS paper 3 under environment and ecology, and from GS paper 3 under economy, and even from GS paper 1 under geography. We have different modes of transport system, right? And next from GS paper 3 science and technology, like what is the other alternative technology that we can use. Okay, now let us see this article. So Indian Railways, they are pushing for 100% electrification. That led to reduction of using of diesel locomotives. We are diverting this diesel locomotives and we are going for this electricity. And here, if you see, whenever we want to go for this environmental friendly move. So actually the reality is the significant wastage of resources which is happening, because when we are going for this India's electricity generation, it is mostly relied on coal. So how we can address this issue of using of fossil fuels in this transportation sector? So that is the thing. And actually this article is saying that there is resource mismanagement. So if we are not decreasing our rely on this coal, if we are moving for this 100% electrification also, we will be not managing resource efficiently, because if you want to move from diesel towards 100% electrification, we need to have infrastructure. That infrastructure is not available, and we need to have more investments, and still we are using this fossil fuels for generation of electricity. So this is one important problem. And next one is, whenever we are going for this electrification goal, it is aiming for environmental benefits. But if you are using the energy which is coming from these fossil fuels, particularly it will be undermining the green credentials. We will be not achieving this target of green energy. And here is always so here whenever we are converting this diesel locomotives to this electrified also, there will be a very less impact. So this is also one important point which is higher GST rate on tobacco, sugared beverages. So what is this GST? Goods and service tax. Is it direct or indirect tax? Direct or indirect? Indirect. Okay, GST is goods and service tax, which is indirect tax. What is this indirect tax is about? Why we are saying indirect? Indirect, why? It is imposed on goods, only goods, service also. It is goods and service tax. Why we are saying indirect? Who will collect them? Is it a destination based tax or production site based tax? Destination based tax. Okay, so is it a regressive tax or progressive tax? Progressive or regressive? What is the meaning of progressive? based on your income. If you are earning low, tax more. But here, despite of your income, if you are earning 10 rupees per day or if you are earning crore rupees per day, you have to pay the same amount of tax. So regressive tax. So who will be affected more because of this regressive tax, rich or poor? Poor will be affected more. Okay, now this article is saying that we have to increase this tax on tobacco and also beverages. Then what will be the impact? So if you are increasing GST on this tobacco and this beverages, what will be the impact? Okay, increasing of price of this tobacco products and as well as beverages. So what happens whenever there is increasing of price? Decreasing of consumption. So because of this decreasing consumption, what happens? Good health. So we can improve the health of the people, like Preetham. Next, economic increases. How? Okay, so we can improve human capital or social capital. Next, what about the revenue for the government? How decreases? Even the GST increase also, people they will go and they will buy that, right? Because obviously I know. Ask Preetham, he will explain everything regarding this. Next, so actually this article is saying that we have to increase this GST rate on tobacco and as well as beverages so that we can tackle this public health issues, and as well as it will be also having impact on the physical challenges associated with these products. So as you all know that, do you see this ad, Mukesh ad? Another ad, like I have 4 gold bangles in my hand, but now no gold bangles. So what happens because of using of this tobacco products? It will be having severe health consequences. So why? What is the important active chemical in this tobacco? Nicotine. Very good. Okay. Nicotine will causes which kind of impact on your body? Cancer will be in the long term, immediate effect. So after having one cigarette, what you will feel? Dopamine. Okay, it will be having impact on your nervous system. Okay, so finally in the long term usage will cause even cancer. What is this cancer? Abnormal cell division. Cell growth will be happen in an uncontrolled manner. So because of this it will form lumps in your body, and even that will be transported from one body part to different body parts, so that we can't trace exactly where this cancer cell is present in your body. So because of this we will go for chemotherapy and radiotherapy for the cancer. So because of this using of tobacco, so can you tell me how many people will be dying every year? 2 people? Only 2? Mukesh and his mother. So approximately how many people will be dying of this tobacco use? I gave the data. I think so. Only 1 lakh. That means it will be having huge economic burden, because whenever the people who are dying because of this tobacco usage, if working age people died, means what happened? The family will be coming onto the road. So government need to provide some social sector benefit schemes for the family. That means ultimately it will be increasing burden on the government. So that if they are increasing this GST, the price will be increased, and government is at least thinking that to decrease this consumption. We don't know what happens. They will be increasing the pocket money, or like they will be spending more on this, especially who are consuming this, we don't know. But government is at least trying to decrease the consumption of this tobacco products. Okay, next see this. How does La Nina affect India's climate? What is this La Nina? La Nina. More rain. So in which subject you will be seeing this La Nina? Can you tell me another word opposite to this La Nina? El Nino. El Nino and La Nina. So you will be reading about this in your GS paper 1 under geography. So in geography, where you will be seeing this? In climate systems. Is it related to Indian monsoon? Indian monsoon. So this year we have this La Nina or El Nino? This year. Okay, so what happens in this La Nina condition? More rainfall. So how more rainfall? So we have to take into consideration India, Australia, and here South America, Australia and India. So in which areas we have low pressure in this La Nina conditions? Obviously India will be having low pressure in both the conditions, and here we have low pressure in Australia and high pressure is in South America. So according to pressure gradient force PGF, always winds move from high pressure to low pressure. That means the winds will be moving from South America towards Australia and India, so that we will be attracting good number of winds, moisture laden winds, so that will be causing more rainfall. So what happens in this condition of El Nino? We have India here, Australia, South America. So don't see the shape. So what happens in this El Nino? Same, here we have low pressure, but between this Australia and South America there will be changes. Instead of high pressure here we have low pressure, and we will be having high pressure in the coast of Australia. So according to PGF, wind will be moving from high pressure to low pressure. So wind will be starting like this from Australia to South America. Here we have high pressure and here we have low pressure. Again winds will be moving like this, but we will be attracting very less number of moisture laden winds, so that we will be having less rainfall during this El Nino. Okay, now tell me, so is there any impact of La Nina on India, Indian climate? So how? I will be writing the points, tell me. So what will be the impact of La Nina? Okay, there will be increased rainfall. Next, there will be increasing of agriculture productivity, and even it will be helpful for fishing community. Next, impact. What about inflation? Decreasing of inflation. Next, think and tell me. Impact. Climate also good. Yes, we can increase hydroelectricity. Next, droughts. Increases or decreases? Decreasing of droughts. Next, farmer suicides. Decreasing of farmer suicides. Okay. Now let us see here. During La Nina years, India receives normal or above normal rainfall during monsoon season, and this season which also causes droughts in Africa and also intensifies hurricanes over Atlantic Ocean. So it will be not having that much impact on India, but overall because of this La Nina it will be also causing harmful in other areas like Africa and as well as Atlantic Ocean. And here this article is saying that during this La Nina we will be having very colder nights compared to that of normal regions. For example, if you are having El Nino, we will be having less colder nights compared to that of La Nina, and especially daytime temperatures will be higher. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, so those two are the points which are related to the climate of India, like rainfall will be increased and the cold winter nights will be very long. Yeah, see this article. What is the procedure for removing judges? Tell me about articles related to the Supreme Court judges. 124 to 124 to 218. So actually, why this removal of court judges is in use? Because of Allahabad High Court. Okay, so actually this article is saying that Article 124 and Article 217 of our Constitution talks about judges of Supreme Court and High Court, they will be removed by the president. So what are the conditions? Misbehavior and incapacity. So here this motion should be passed by houses, right? So what is the majority that we require? Simple majority or special majority? Special majority. Okay, so here this process is very long. So we need special majority in both the houses for the removal of judges. Okay, so here you have to remember the articles and you have to see what are the grounds on which they can be removed. Only there are two grounds. First one is misbehavior, second one is incapacity, and they require special majority. Open your Lakshmikant and see this chapter of judiciary so that you will be getting clear-cut idea regarding what is the process of removal of these judges. So can we call this process as impeachment? Yes, impeachment is a word will be used for whom? President and Vice President. Next one is Supreme Court judges. You have to see that. Okay. So these are the important topics that happened in our today's Hindu newspaper. So by this I am concluding. And yes, we are going to start anthropology optional batch from December 19th, and we are providing 3 free classes like 19, 20 and 21. And if you want to attend these classes, you can visit our academy, which is on 2nd floor above Vikas Book Center at Ashok Nagar. And one more thing is we are also going to start GS Foundation course for 2026 from January. So admissions are open and you can register for that. So if you have any queries, you can call us on the number 8074765513. Don't forget. And don't forget to subscribe to Rathods Academy.